And new faces who are throwing their hats in the ring this election season. Joining me in studio, Yariv Oppenheimer, candidate for the far-left Meretz party and still with us, but taking off the former Shin Bet title, Gonen Ben Yitzchak, now co-founder of the protest movement for State Leadership Party. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hi.
All right, let's talk about how you both got here, because of course we've interviewed you a number of times here on Perspectives and on I-24 News. Your title was a former director of Peace Now, a left-wing NGO, and of course former Shin Bet agent. Now we have you as a candidate for the Meretz party. Talk us through why you're running now.
I think that if you look at the parties that we see, hardly you can find people that are speaking out loud about the issues of settlements, about the issue of two states, about the issue of peace with the Palestinians. And these things are missing in the Israeli discourse. And one of the reasons why I found myself so many times in television studios and in radio is because other MKs never spoke about these specific issues. And we know that the best place to influence is the Knesset. Therefore, I think that there is a place for people like me to bring out the message of the two-state solution, of peace, and also the anti-settlements movement in many ways.
It's rather untrtrendy to say that you're a left-winger, at least in the Israeli parliament. Everyone's moving more into the center.
And a proud one that can stand up on his position and be ready to confront the right wing and the center, sometimes even the center left.
All right, let's look at another face. Gonen, we know that you're an anti-Netanyahu campaigner, a leader in the yellow vest protest. In fact, you found yourself with a lot of attention just Saturday when we saw another division, when we saw the Jewish Home Party divide into the new right party with Naftali Bennett and Shakeup leaving to form their own party. Let's take a look at what went down in that announcement.
True partnership between religious and secular.
What partnership? You are busy with religionization. What partnership? I am just speaking my mind. That's allowed. When Minister Shakeup is talking about partnership, there is no partnership. You speak of partnership, but you forcefully coerce your opinions, once in the justice system, and secondly in the education system.
So the name of your party, the protest movement, we're seeing that heckling there. Is this the kind of politics that we can expect from you?
Yes. You know, this is the kind of politics that goes out and asks people to say the truth, because both of them were standing there lying to the people. Now we know that basically this was a hack. They basically what they did, they left their old party with 22 million shekels debt, and they just moved on to their new party. And yes, we're going to stand out, and when we'll get to the Knesset, things will be different. Do you think that laws like the laws that were issued in the former Knesset will be issued the way there was with no opposition? This will not happen. We're going to change the game inside the Knesset in a way that they're not going to expect it.
So it seems, listening to both of your voices, because there is this idea that there's going to be no real challenger for Benjamin Netanyahu, that the right-wing government, that's here to stay. Do you see the fact that, as you say, that the voice of the left seems to be getting quieter, and the centre and the centre-left seems to be getting quite crowded? Perhaps this is an opportunity for Meretz.
I hope so, and I think that because everyone are looking for the center and everyone are looking to be nice and not to make not to get criticism, therefore Meretz has a place and a role in the Israeli political system.
Why is that voice getting more and more quiet?
I think that there are many reasons for that. The first one is that we don't have a peace agreement on the table, and people don't see a chance for peace. But people don't understand that when we don't have peace, things are changing on the ground, and the chances for reaching a two-state solution is becoming smaller. Therefore, I think that this issue should be spoken much more loudly. And by the way, sometimes it's not the most populistic ideas that the left wing is bringing about human rights.
Is it not representative of what the Israeli public want?
I don't know, because I think that eventually people that don't like to vote for Netanyahu, in many ways they don't want to vote for Netanyahu also because of this political issue. And this is the most important issue that is on the table for the Israeli public. Most of the discourse in Israel if you look at it deeply, you will see that it's about what's going on in the West Bank, it's about what's going on with the settlements.
Security, it's also internally
and security,
economy.
of course, but security related to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and to the international agenda.
What would you say this election is really about? From your perspective, in the current Israeli context, what should voters really be asking themselves?
I'll tell you, Netanyahu is a history. Netanyahu, sooner or later, will go to prison. His time came to end. But we have lots of social problems that we need to solve. Corruption, the cost of living that is too high, the fact that people in Israel, Jews, Arabs, Muslims, Druze, are not equal today. They are not equal. And we need to make sure that everybody gets the same. You know,
do those things matter if there is no Israel and if its borders aren't safe, which is, of course, what Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stands for, the mantle of security?
Even today, when we see the heritage of Netanyahu concerning security, we see Iran that is on the border. Okay, in the time when we had no state in Syria, he let Iran to get to our border. We see that he let Iran to get to our border in Gaza. More than 2 million Palestinians are starving in Gaza. He has no solution to that. He thinks that if he will close his eyes and is not going to watch what's going on in Gaza.
But you don't believe, looking at the fact that there is no unity, there is no real leadership, that's what's being said, but from the left wing, that without Benjamin Netanyahu, what is the future of Israel? Is it an unsafe country?
No, I think that Israel is safe, but it's up to the leadership to make it even safer and to make Israel not just safe, but also peaceful. And I think that eventually what is missing in these parties and figures that are left of Netanyahu is not just to say what Netanyahu cannot do, but also to say what Israel should do, even if it takes some courage. If people think that this current situation is leading us to another unnecessary war, so we have to speak out and to say there is a different way. And you know what?
How does the left, because we have to finish, how does the left answer the questions of the ultra-Orthodox and the ideologies that exist within this country?
I think that we are living in the same country, but eventually the ultra-Orthodox are trying to sometimes to impose their opinion on the Israelis. But in many ways, I think that if the agenda is to bring some change, a real big political change, there is also a place for cooperation, even between Meretz and the Orthodox parties.